welcome back. I am so excited to introduce the extraordinary Ross Mathews. Hello, Ross.
Hi.
I feel like I have been invited to the cool kids table at the cafeteria. You know, like it's high school.
Yes.
Like
It's my first day. I looked around and I see you, and I think, oh, I wish I could be their friend. And I feel like you've all just waved me over. So I'm so
On Wednesdays we wear pink.
understood. Let me write that down. Wednesday's pink. Okay, got it.
Pink.
Can you imagine though what the cafeteria would look like if we had to be social distance? Like in my high school, we were just all up on each other. So
Right.
I can't even imagine.
As long as they still serve tater tots, I'm fine. I don't care how.
Yes. I was always upset when it was like cheeseburger Fridays and they didn't either have tater tots or french fries. They'd give me a bag of chips. I'm like, what am I supposed to do with that?
What are we? Are we pilgrims? We don't have
Right. Where are my tots?
Seriously, potato chips are never a substitute for a fry or a tater tot. Thank you for getting to the important, hard-hitting questions and topics at the beginning of
right
the
off the bat.
And that's a wrap. Thank you for
Thank you so much.
All about food.
So Ross, you have had such an amazing career. I know all of us here at this table look up to you in terms of leading the way, especially within the LGBTQ community. So thank you for that.
Yes.
You are a comedian, you're a host, you're a published author, you're also a podcast host. You just run the gamut. So can you tell us, growing up, how did you start in Hollywood? What made you venture the way to show business? Give us the 411. Where did it all begin?
All the scoop.
All the scoop. Well, I grew up in a little farm town in Washington State. And Hollywood felt like as far away as Mars. I couldn't believe that it was a tangible place, somewhere you could actually touch. But I just always loved pop culture and I loved it. And I knew in my core I'd be part of it all. But there were not people like me on television when I was growing up. I didn't know what a gay grown-up person looked like. I remember thinking as a little kid, can I grow up? What is that even? Right? I couldn't even understand. So that's always driven me. And I've been on TV now if you can believe this, 19 years. And it's so funny because when I first started on television, they called me, I'll tell you the story quickly, but I got on Leno, The Tonight Show with Jay Leno. I was just delivering mail and I got an internship working behind the scenes and they thought my dogs are barking. Quiet, kids, I love you. Daddy loves you, but shush. I was I'm not a strict disciplinarian, as you can imagine. They plucked me out of my unpaid internship and put me on television as sort of a gimmick, Ross the intern. And what they thought would be a one-time funny thing, I thought like, oh, this is how it's all going to happen. Right. And yes. And so then I have never been off television since. And what's so funny is I started out the first 10 years of my life as Ross the intern, me being like, okay, well, we know they can't call me this forever, right? Because I plan on being here for a minute, ladies and gentlemen. And
hello.
And you need to get paid, okay?
Oh, that'd be nice. And now I feel like people don't know even that I was ever on that show. Like the younger kids are like, you what? But I've been so grateful for 19 years to do shows like The Tonight Show and all the red carpets on E! and Chelsea Lately and RuPaul's Drag Race and beyond. I'm just so above it, like thrilled and grateful.
Resume.
That's amazing. And I'd love to see you. Like, it's always like, Ross is in that? Oh yeah, let's watch that.
Yeah. I remember watching you on the Jay Leno show. So it's been like a great journey to see you like blossom into this like extraordinaire.
Isn't that fun? And people, I think that's part of why it's so special, my career, because it feels like everybody who's been watching since day one is sort of part of it. I felt people rooting for me even back then, even though I felt like I half the audience was completely annoyed by me. I felt like the other half was totally rooting for me. And so I write about the whole process in my first book, Man Up. I point because it's right behind me on the shelf, but I feel like we've all been, that's a shameless plug, but people have been there all along. And so when you say you remember back in the day, I feel a sense of pride that we've done it kind of together. I love that.
Yeah. I love it. Okay, so now you're on RuPaul's Drag Race. Tell us all about that because we are big Drag Race friends over here.
We've watched it since day one.
Yeah, well, me too. I've been right there.
Yeah, and not to just put flames up under your booty. But whatever you joined the cast, I was like, oh my gosh, this shit is about
That's gonna
to
be
get so
Yeah.
much more interesting. So is there any sort of
like what
do we want to know?
I want to know, well, not for me, what was your favorite moment as a judge? Like from starting from, because you also did like guest judge before you were a permanent.
So let me tell you. So when I came on, I think it was 3 or 4. See, I can't remember. Isn't that funny? I did it and I can't remember. It was 3 or 4, but I came on for Snatch Game and I wore like a gingham shirt. And I remember being like, I can't believe I'm here, because since episode 1, day 1, I would watch the show and talk at it. And then they asked me to be there for a guest judge. And then they asked me back like season 6 to be a guest judge again. And then they just said in season 7, do you want to stick around? And I was like, are you nuts? Of course. And, you know, I'm not, you know, Michelle has the credibility to be a judge because she's known Rue forever, right? And been in the scene forever. Carson is such an extraordinary judge because he comes from fashion house and knows everything about it. And so at first I was like, are the fans going to think that I'm qualified to sit there on that panel? But what I decided was the one thing that I can bring to this show is to be a representative for the super fans. To use that judge's seat and judge from the point of view of, are these queens doing drag that would make me follow them on Instagram, remember their name, buy a ticket to their show, wait in line at DragCon to pay $40 to get a picture with them, and that's how I judge. Is like, do you make me care? You know, as a super fan. And I'm so grateful that the fans have been, and the viewers have been so nice to me and so welcoming, because I love the show so much.
You were so much fun on the show. Like I get what you're saying. Like obviously Rue's point of view is the queen view totally, and like Michelle brings the like bitchy hardcore side. Carson brings the fashion angle, but you bring the reality of like what the viewer's thinking, and the comedic timing is just so fun. It's so much fun as a viewer's watch.
I remember, you did season 4 of Drag Race for the Snatch Game. It was season 4 because it was that horrendous, just buffoonery.
Yeah, it wasn't one of the greatest Snatch Games. And of course, it was season 4. Someone brought it up to me recently. C7 said season 3, and I was like, I think it was. That's the only reason I hesitated on that, because I thought someone was trying to correct me the other day, and I'm like, I don't think you correct me. I think I know. But if you think about my favorite moments, have been moments when people surprise themselves and surprise us. You know, I think one of the most epic moments in the history of all of Drag Race is Sasha Velour's So Emotional moment. I remember sitting in the theater. It was the finale for that, sitting in the theater and literally feeling like we had all just been struck by lightning. Like, you know, when your skin is alive in the middle of the thunderst, and that's what it felt. And I just thought, this is instantly iconic. I was here for it. I cannot believe it. But then there's also very subtle moments when a queen will like stand on the edge of that stage and know they're going home, or they could be going home. And I can see, you guys, I'm so close that I can see their eyes getting moist. I can see them wanting it so bad, and just knowing that it's not their time. On a personal level, I just am so invested. So I love those moments when it's just human to human and a real moment.
Exactly. Like Cameron Michaels and Eureka's lip sync.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
That was one where everyone in the room was
were screaming like it was the Super Bowl.
It was the Super Bowl.
It was.
Do you know what my favorite thing is to do? Well, one of them is to go watch the show at a bar. Remember when we could go to bars? Remember back then?
I remember.
Like 20 years ago, I don't know.
Yeah. But I love going because when we're taping it, I'm hearing you all. And I've said it on the show before, like when you came out on the runway, I could hear the kids in the club screaming. I've said that before because I just know you're all going to lose it. So when I'm in a bar watching it, or a viewing party with you guys, I'm like, oh, just wait, what's about to happen?
Were you hosting your brunch in Palm Springs, and did that play by chance?
Was I hosting it when?
You have your brunch in Palm Springs, right?
Yeah, so I do. I have my bubbly brunch is Ross Bubbly Brunch. We rossbubblybrunch.com, by the way. We are in 17 cities across the country and one in Mexico, Puerto Vallarta. So we have them all over. We never play the show there though. It's kind of interesting. I guess we could kind of have it on as people are walking in. I just don't want to lose my job. You know what I'm saying?
I feel you.
Well, if that comes into fruition, I'll send you my contract and patent pending agreement, and we'll just work a deal. How about that?
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, because it airs on Fridays, right?
Right.
And then brunch is Saturday. Yeah. So.
Well,
Not
Ross,
anymore,
I think you also bring a lot of fashion to it as well. There was actually, before I asked my question, was it an Emmy award for primetime or daytime? You and I were in the same jacket. You didn't care, but you were both in a Talia jacket. You didn't care. And I have the jacket. It's in my room. I'll have to show it to you at another time. But we both were wearing the same jacket. And my friend was like, I think Ross Mathews is wearing your Talia. He's wearing your Talia jacket. And I said,
was that Taylor O'Rear's mistake?
No. I don't think so. But
when was this? This had to be a couple years ago.
This was a couple years ago. Maybe 3 years ago. No, I remember. I was like, oh, there's Ross Mathews.
And I looked down, and we had the same jacket on, and I was honored.
Who wore it better?
Did you tweet me something about it? Did you? Or
I didn't.
tag
I
me?
wouldn't even breathe in your direction because you killed it.
But thank you.
It just showed me that I was up in the times with fashion.
Right.
So I said, well, damn.
I was like, you did it, girl.
I did. No, she did. She's like, you made it. I was like, girl, I did it. It was great. So we both looked amazing. But in terms of that, you've been in Hollywood for a while. You've obviously found your niche, especially in RuPaul's Drag Race. Did you ever feel that your sexuality was looked down upon in Hollywood and hindered your career in any way?
Yes. And I remember, especially in the early days, I would, go into networks. I'm not going to name the networks, but I remember a specific network executive.
Was it NBC? Because they tried.
Okay. It was
ABC.
It was a network executive said to me, like, thanks for coming in. You're a lot of fun, but you're just too gay. And I remember thinking, and you know what I remember thinking in that moment? Like, understood. Because it was a different time. And I was just like, understood. I am okay. I get it.
That's so heartbreaking.
And I wish I could go back and be like, fuck you piece of shit. Fuck
exactly.
But it was a different time.
Yeah.
And I just was like, maybe he's right. And so yes, I think it has been difficult. Well, and I think, somebody like me has had a lot of chances to be a really good sidekick, on shows. They let me on for a little bit, but they're still not giving flamboyant gay men platforms.
Well, that was going to be my next question.
Rue the exception.
Right. Right.
My next question was going to be yes, that was a different time, but given the times that we are in politically, especially with an election coming up, do you think there has been any progress in terms of LGBTQ representation in Hollywood?
Oh, certainly. I mean, you just look at the vast options, the myriad of options. If you want queer programming, that it's everywhere, but and which is phenomenal. I mean, shows from we're here to Queer Eye to our show to, countless shows. They're there. I really get excited for the day though when there is an openly gay, successful daytime talk show host.
I'm on my way, Ross.
Or game show host, you know what I'm saying?
I was going to ask, is that something that you would want to do? Is like have your...
Yes. Yes, sky is the limit. I think I was very lucky to be raised by a mother who made me think, why not me? So many people think, oh, why me? I just think, why not me? So why not me? I have a lot of, I never shut the hell up. So I might as well put a camera on it. But I also think it would say a lot to have someone like me find success on that kind of level. So I'll keep swinging, honey, until they shut me down.
Well, Ross, I mean, for me personally, like especially with us hosting this podcast, we feel that you have found success because you paved the way for this. And I know Braden talked about it in the beginning, but we would not be sitting here at this table talking to you, having this platform if you wouldn't have reached out there and just took a chance and said, "Why not me?" So thank you for doing it.
Yeah.
Well, you're welcome, but I still think you'd be here. I still think you would have found your way. But that
Baby,
really
we
means a lot
made
to
it.
me because like I tell you, I didn't have that example, you know. So it makes me very happy to hear that. Thank you.
So as you like got knocked down and as more execs said, you know, you're too gay or whatever, what made you keep going and keep pushing forward?
Well, luckily I had people on my side. You know, Jay Leno and the producers on that show just were like, we love this. We're going to put him on. Chelsea Handler was humongous for me because she put me on her show. And I'll tell you a funny story, but she put me on her show and she purposely said my last name every day, right? To get the audience to know me. And I remember the first time do you remember Chelsea Lately? Did you ever watch that?
Yes,
Duh.
absolutely.
I have to tell you, I watched your episodes whenever you were on the panel more than once because you were like such an amazing part of the show.
Well, thank you. And that show was hardcore because, you know, she got the funniest people that she knew, and then she would just sort of throw things out. And you had to really be ruthless and elbow your way in because there was no you go and then you go and then you go. So if you didn't get in, she just moved on. And I remember the first time I was on, it was in the early days, and I'm from a small town. So I got on, I had jokes prepared, and I just said, you go. So I didn't say anything. So she, afterwards she goes, you got to come back. And I said, babe, I don't think this is for me. And she said, you are funnier than you think. So I came back and I was just like throwing elbows like I was in an all women's prison. You know, I was just
I love it.
And then, you know, the rest is history. But you know, it taught me how to be really ruthless.
Do you still keep in touch with Chelsea?
I love Chelsea. Yes, of course. I mean, I haven't seen her in. Oh, you want to hear the most bougie sentence I was just going to say, but it's the total
Yes, I
truth.
do.
I was
Yes.
like, I ran into her at a Pete Buttigieg fundraiser at Gwyneth's house, but I haven't seen her since then. That sentence is true.
You know, my
I
friend
love
Gwyneth,
it.
I live for the day where I can say that sentence.
That
you know,
sentence
just a
is true.
fundraiser.
But before it came out, I heard it and was like, you're such an asshole. But that is
I love it, baby.
No, I love it.
So going back to Drag Race, I have some tea that I want to see if you will confirm for me.
Okay.
So Michael Musto broke on queerty.com that a season 13 queen, a New York queen, was sent home the day before filming was to begin because producers found out that in her show in New York, she takes people's phones and then like airdrops nudes out to the bars. I just want to see what the tea is.
I don't know.
Is that,
Can you
confirm,
confirm?
no
Do you
deny?
deny? I don't know.
I don't know.
well, I mean, Avi, I can't talk about that.
Right,
I don't,
right.
and to be honest, like I'm not in the loop on that if that's true or not. So
Okay.
I can't confirm or deny it. That being said, even if I did know, I so would not tell you. You trying to come between me and a check, bitch? Not
Right.
gonna
You
happen.
said,
100.
You know, we have to try. You have to
I
try.
had to shoot my shot.
on that kind of Drag Race train, which you guys just shooting and everything with COVID, because obviously we're living in a different world right now. How did you find shooting and the social distancing to be? Did you feel like you weren't able to connect to the queens more? Like, how did you find that, you know, without giving anything away?
Absolutely, and the only reason I'm hesitating here is because I'm always scared that I'm going to give something away, so I'm being very thoughtful in my answer.
We can edit out whatever we need to.
Yeah.
I would never ask you to edit anything. Leave this in. Don't edit anything out. But I just don't want to ruin the experience for any viewers, you know.
Yes.
Yes, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I don't like spoilers.
Great.
Yeah.
I will tell you, you know, it was an interesting and unique experience to shoot anything. I shot a couple productions during COVID, and it's different in terms of the procedural things behind the scenes. You know, like my everyday of getting to hair and makeup, and that. So in terms of my experience, it was different. I will tell you, in terms of the story on the screen, it will not. impede the story. It is so good.
Oh,
Yes.
And as I was, it didn't impede how I experienced the Queens either.
Right.
good.
Yeah, that's good.
You
I
know,
can
because,
totally
like-
see it working with like keeping the queen 6 feet apart and the judges apart, and I totally.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Just wait and see. I will tell you this: World of Wonder and VH1 did a beautiful job, and in fact, I think they set the example for Hollywood. And
Yeah.
a lot
Yeah.
of productions are following what they have done, and they should be applauded for it. Mhm.
That's amazing.
Work well for them.
Awesome.
I always feel, and the reason I brought that up, Ross, is, I've seen recently of, season 12 Queens speaking out and saying, it was so sad they didn't get to do things together and they didn't really get the experience,
Yeah.
unfortunately. Because that was at the height of COVID where we didn't really know how to even social distance, clearly.
Yeah.
So I'm really happy to hear that. And I hope that, the Queens continue to get those chances as we move forward.
Yeah, well, we just got to support our queens when we can get back to the clubs and the happy hours and the drag brunches. We just got to tip extra, take care of our queens. They
Mhm.
Buy
they're
their
doing what
merch.
they can now, and buy their merch, support. I mean, and that goes for every artist you can. Anything you can do. It's tough
Mhm.
out there for a queen right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now they have the drive-in
Yeah.
drag
Drive.
performance.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And Voss is doing that. I think they are brilliant. Brilliant. what
Yeah.
they're doing.
I haven't caught one yet, but I really want to go.
Yeah, they had one in Jersey, and then we couldn't go.
Right. Yeah.
They know what they're doing.
One thing on Queens, before I pass it over, one of the queens that you have worked with, Joan Rivers, I want to know your favorite memory of Joan Rivers. And, obviously she left.
I'm sure you have a million.
but we want to know your favorite memory of Joan Rivers.
Oh God. The favorite memory I can't tell you because she talks so much shit about somebody that I just would be.
I can only imagine.
But Joan was just, what I loved about her is that she was very kind, really. Like she could slice you in half and without any effort on her part. It was just easy to her to sort of cut you apart. But she had a beautiful kindness to her and a support for the underdog. She looked at me as sort of this like this young kid who was just trying and being himself. And so she was always nice to me. And nobody could use the C word like Joan, just even at a luncheon could just drop it in front of everyone and no one was offended. And it was funny. She was unlike anybody else.
Yeah.
Would you say that she's probably the most favorite of yours that you've worked with in your career, besides Gwen, of course?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I loved her. I've been pretty lucky, from Jay Leno to Chelsea to, Rosie O'Donnell is someone who I just love and has been like a mentor to me. RuPaul, you guys, have you ever met Ru? Anyone here met Ru?
Ashley and I did.
Me and Darrell did at the Emmys.
Okay, so Ru is like a star more than anyone I've ever met in my life. Just that star quality. You're like, oh shit, there's a star. Simultaneously though, Ru will like turn to me sometimes at break and ask me like a question about, she knew that I had like painted my living room in Palm Springs. So she's like, how'd the living room turn out? Is it cute? And you're like, how do you have a file on my living room in your brain? So there's this like beautiful human element. Like I love that I appreciate how bright her star shines, but I also just have this great coworker friend that I get to like talk to every day. It's the best.
That's
so
amazing.
amazing.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So screw Michelle.
No, you know what Michelle's like. Michelle is like the big sister I always wanted. Like Michelle will give me the truth, right? She'll tell me to fuck off if I need to, but she will kick your ass if you screw with me. She is one of the best people I ever met.
And that, I think that dynamic plays really well on screen.
Yeah, I've
It's
never.
so much fun to watch.
When we met RuPaul, Michelle was there, but we didn't get a chance to talk with her. But I'm from San Antonio, and Michelle went there numerous years to do Rocky Horror Picture Show. So like a lot of my friends got to work with Michelle, and they were like, she's so amazing.
The real deal. Real deal. And at this point, we're all family. Carson too. Carson and I just had brunch the other day together. there's no bullshit on this set. No, I've worked with some real assholes.
We actually had Jay Rodriguez on earlier,
I love Jay.
and he spoke of how amazing Carson was and everything that he's done.
Yeah.
So.
The best. And you know what? Like, that's rare. I'll tell you, not everybody on every show that you watch that you think they're friends give a crap about each other, but we are there for each other in times good and bad. It's just been a gift. Oh my God, I sound so Pollyanna. Doesn't that sound so cheese fest?
No, it actually is really refreshing. It's really refreshing to hear that because
I love to hear it, but I also wish a part of me was like low-key, like, she's a fucking bitch. I don't know. Being near her, but
I have worked with fucking bitches, but I really have.
I could only imagine.
Yeah, this town is tough, man. There are some.
Oh, of course.
Oh yeah,
of course.
I think we got like a glimpse of it that one year we went to the Emmys.
I think this is all like the same year we went to the Emmys, and
what
it's
did
just
you
like,
see? Tell me everything. What did you see?
Just a lot of like shady dealings and lots of secrets.
I mean, really, like, to be quite honest, a lot of like sexual, like predatory kind of shit, and like
a lot of drunk people.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, we're not naming names, but like, you know, we mingled with a lot of people, but like there was some stuff where it's like, oh, it's really like that. Like, people really think they can touch you. They really think they can say anything to you.
But I will say, I don't think I do not condone any of that. But I don't think it's necessarily exclusive to Hollywood and show business.
Of course.
In every business, which is
of course. But it was
Hollywood's just tough because everybody is their own product, you know, so everybody's totally selfish, totally wrapped up in them, totally want to win, you know, so it's very rare to find a group of people who just want to play. It almost feels like it's like you in high school when you would put on a play and you just want everyone, you're just excited because people are showing up and you want your best friend to do well and you don't forget my line. So it just feels like that we're still playing. It doesn't feel like business. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm thinking about the Emmys. I'm like, oh, there is the glamorous side where it's like, oh thank you for all these gifts. Thank you so much.
We got to see, that part's good. The fashion, that part's fun. I mean,
the fashion, the food, the drinks,
the gifting suite,
all that stuff.
That was fabulous. And then we got to see the dirty side of it.
And we're like, I feel a little dirty.
I like knowing the inside scoop.
I mean,
hell yeah. I mean,
we all want the piping hot tea.
Yeah.
So Ross, before we let you go, we have sort of a seasonal question.
Oh yes. So, you know, it's spooky season. I don't know if you're into like horror movies and Halloween and everything, but we ask all of our guests, so what's your favorite scary movie?
Oh God, scary movies are not for me. You know.
Oh no!
Let me tell you how I roll. I can watch Bridges in Madison County 142 times. In fact, I have. That's sort of how I roll. You know, the scariest movie. Oh God. In Postcards in the Edge, when Shirley MacLaine has no makeup on and Meryl does it. That's like the scariest scene that I ever want to see.
Oh my God.
You have our producers back here.
You know the scene. Let me just tell you, all of your audience is Googling Postcards from the Edge. What is a Shirley MacLaine?
What is a Shirley MacLaine?
Listen, everybody put some respect on Shirley MacLaine.
I am obsessed with Shirley MacLaine. Hello. Still Magnolia's a good movie.
Hello, Weasel. But no, everybody watch Postcards from the Edge, and the scene when Meryl does Shirley MacLaine's makeup, just you'll know it. It'll be a gay gasp heard around the world, and you'll know what I'm talking about.
You are bad. You are bad.
I love it.
The vision. I can't even get it together. That's absolutely amazing. Ross, when you come to New York soon, let's do brunch.
You were just here. Tell us quickly about that. And you're coming back soon. For what?
Personal things.
Yeah.
Okay.
I said woo like it's bad.
Right.
Because, you know, we have to be safe, you know, but we also have to live our lives.
Okay.
And so this time I also am throwing work in too. I'm going to be working a little bit while I'm there, but much more personal than work. If you know what I
love it.
Sound like somebody sleeping with a judge.
Are you sleeping with a judge?
Well, Ross Mathews, thank you so much for taking the time out to chat with us here at Pride the Podcast. We are so grateful.
And honored.
You are just a light. And
listen, I want to tell you something. I want you to keep up this work, okay? Because we need your voices and we want to hear what you have to say, what you think. So I want you to never stop it. Never stop being inquisitive. Never stop speaking your mind, and never stop saying what you want, because you're saying what you told me I did for you, you are doing for the kids now.
Oh,
okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We needed that.
I was like, I needed to hear that.
Yeah.
I am proud of you. I am very proud of you. All right, kids.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Sending you so much love.
Oh, so much love.
Speak soon.
Bye,
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
All right. I am so excited for our next guest, Mr. Tony Moore, actor and host. Welcome to Pride the Podcast.
Hi.
Thank you for being here.
Hi, Tony.
Hi, y'all.
Hello.
Thank y'all for having me. Hello, good morning, good evening, good afternoon.
Good morning.
I'm so happy to have you here, Tony. Like, I met you face to face a few years ago at LA Pride.
Yeah, we all did.
Where you were
you
were serving the children. I only think about myself, so that's why I didn't think about them. But
it was last year. It was just last year.
It was, oh my, it feels like we've been in COVID for fucking 2 years.
Was it?
Yeah, it was 2019.
Was it like,
God.
y'all, COVID has me feeling like I have lost 5 years of my life.
Yeah,
I don't know what's going on anymore.
But not on my face. I have gained like 5 years of wrinkles on my face.
Oh, I don't know that.
I have gained 19 pounds for sure.
That's all right.
Thank God this is a podcast.
Everything still looks good though, baby.
Okay.
So we met you with our wonderful friends, the Double Time Twins.
Yes.
Love those girls. Shout out to
Yes.
them. So let's hear about you. How did you, Tony Moore, become to be? You are a dancer. You are a host. You are an actor. You do
TV
everything.
personality.
Game show contestant.
Yeah, we want to hear all about how you came to be.
Well, it all started on a fateful, gloomy night of January 3rd, 1980. No, I'm just kidding.
Yes.
No,
Okay,
let's start there.
Capricorn.
No, but I mean, I knew when I was very young that I wanted to be in entertainment. And so I put myself on the track of being an entertainer. When I was younger, I used to perform concerts for the family just because. I did theater. I studied theater in college. I was the choreographer for a dance group in college. I danced as the mascot in college. So like, I knew that eventually I was going to entertain. That was just in my blood, in my spirit. And I knew that the place that I needed to do it in was LA. So, but I knew I needed to get my education first. So she graduated high school, she graduated college. 2 years after college, I made the move to LA, and I just figured out the lay of the land and, you know, hustled and grind, and whatever idea that I had, I tried to make sure it came into some sort of fruition and just open myself to opportunities. So, and here I am.
Yes,
You know, that's actually some really good, to give us advice. You know, we're thinking about making the big move to LA soon, or at least to be bi-coastal.
We're not supposed to announce that yet.
Yeah. Well, this is
Also,
producers are in our ear.
Is this part gonna get edited out? Who in charge?
No,
nothing ever gets edited
We
out.
are filtered, baby.
We don't do that around here, but
what would you say is really good advice for us in terms of that, or in terms of anyone who wants to make that move? And do you have a couch for us to sleep on? All right, go ahead.
All four of us.
All four of us.
I will say I do not have a couch for you to sleep on, because I have a rule. My rule is if you don't have a bed behind a door that closes, you can't stay here.
I know that's right.
Okay.
I'm not sleeping on any couch anyway.
Yeah.
So do you have a king size bed?
Do you have a second story?
Okay,
For me.
Do you have a guest house and a side pool?
Right.
No, but I can point you into the direction.
That's all we need. We'll take it. Look, you broke me down till you got me where we need to be. Cool.
But the advice that I would give, and the same advice that I gave myself before moving to LA, is number one, know yourself, know who you are, because there's a lot. LA is a lot. And when you come here, everything looks great. Everything looks shiny and bright. The people look good. You know, things look good. But I feel like when you know yourself, you know what you're willing to do and what you're willing to fall for. And I've seen so many people move here, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed and a little naive, and you just see them kind of decline and fall into the doing the wrong things. And then they end up back home. So don't be one of those people. Have an idea of who you are. Never feel like you have to change and adjust to the people who are here, because LA people are interesting. So, you know, never feel like you have to adjust, but know who you are, and remember your goals, remember your dreams, remember the reason why you're here. And just work hard towards it. And there are going to be times where you're going to stumble and fall and you're going to feel like giving up. Take a moment, eat a large pizza, watch some Sex and the City, and then get right back to it.
Yeah. How long have you been in LA now, you know, doing the biz thing? And what was your first aha moment where you realized, oh, you know, God put me here for a reason? If you are spiritual, religious, maybe not, I don't know, but what's up?
I've been living in LA for 12 years now, as of this past August. My first aha moment was when I moved here and how easy it was. I was working and living in Columbia, South Carolina on a Friday, like August 15th. And that was my last day of work and everything. By that Monday, by that Monday, August 18th, I was living in LA, and
That's
I
Adam's
drove.
birthday.
August 18th.
Oh,
18th. Yes, I
Sorry,
said 15th.
Adam was just born.
That face that Adam made was like, whose birthday is that day?
I thought we were still on August 15th. Sorry.
That was a test. He was like, now I know you know when my birthday is.
You know when my birthday. You were about
it's a whole thing about Adam's
honestly,
birthday.
you were about to watch the most classic Joy Behar, Megan Actually, no, you were actually about to watch Elizabeth Hasselbeck and Rosie O'Donnell Part 2. If Braden didn't know Adam's birthday, it was about to be a problem.
I'll tell you what we're doing on August 15th. Exactly, sip that tea. What we're doing on August 15th is celebrating Adam's birthday on August 18th, because that's all we do. Week before,
it's a week long.
It's a whole event. Next year we're going to space.
Yeah,
we're going to space.
And honestly, I don't have the breath quality to keep me up. So
the bandwidth.
I don't know.
Oh my God.
Anyway,
but yeah, that was my aha moment, was just how easy it was, because I flew in. When I landed in LA, I drove to the place that I was going to be living and that I lived for 10 years. Because prior to moving, this is maybe also the pre-aha moment. I found the place that I was going to move into like one random weekend in July when I flew back for an agency meeting. After had been in 2018, June of 2018, I came out for a week just to see if I could live here. Figured very quickly that I could. I came back the end of July, had an agency meeting, found the house that was available, and that decided the date. And then August 18th, I flew in and drove straight to that house. And then a week later, all of my stuff came, because I'm a bougie bitch and I was not about to drive cross country and put all those miles on my car. So she packed shit. Yeah.
Tony.
I was going to say, a lot of that sounds like when we moved up to New York.
But we are not the bougie bitch, because we drove to New York.
Yeah, we drove
with all of our.
We drove
from Texas.
We drove in Bouget. We came in Bouget.
We were bougie and Bouget truck, the Bouget truck.
Like,
it was horrible, and we will never do it again.
Okay. We don't even have any of those things we came with.
So you got to LA.
We got rid of everything that we came with,
except our friendship, which I'm still questioning. I'm still questioning. Okay, so you got to LA. Then what was the journey from your YouTube show, from your podcast, to like all of the stuff that put you like right on the carpet?
I will say the thing that I moved to LA to pursue acting. Hosting was not in my dream, thought, nothing. I started hosting by accident. And there was a promoter at Mickey's who saw me twirling around and dancing to Beyonce like I always do, and randomly asked me to host his night. And I was like, well, if you want me to host, you're gonna have to pay me. And I exit stage left.
Hello.
But he like came back and he found me. He said, no, I'm being for real. I want you to host for me. Gave me his card. And I was like, I don't host. Like, what does host mean? Like, does he want me to stand at the door and be like, "Hi, welcome to Mickey's. Come on in." What does he want me to do? And so from there, I started hosting his Tuesday nights and a dance contest. So I did that, and because I had found a new love for hosting, I wanted to hone in on it. So I thought, what could I create that would allow me to do the two things I love? Get to know people and talk about pop culture and entertainment. So there came Lounging with Tony, and interviewing different celebrities and wanting to show them in like a cool, fun way rather than like Oprah or Barbara Walters and trying to find out their deepest, darkest secrets. I just wanted people to realize that these people that you see on TV are just like you and I. So that's how that started and how I started hosting and creating shows. And from there, it went from creating Lounging with Tony to creating my own talk web show called 30ish. The Casting Call, which was inviting casting directors to come on and talk about the industry, to creating Dish and Days, which is my Days of Our Lives recap, to now More Please, which is now my latest web show that I just started 3 weeks ago because of the quarantine. So here we are hosting.
I feel like, Tony, I feel like we're literally the same person, and I'm honored to follow in your footsteps because, like, we both love Days of Our Lives.
Yes.
I didn't ever intend to be sitting down and doing podcasts and doing hosting because obviously acting was, but here we are. And I appreciate everything that you've done, and being a man of color, like, it's really inspired me. So I thank you, darling.
Oh, well, thank you. You know what? Sometimes people don't realize that, like, when someone says something like that, it means so much, and not in like a ego kind of a way, but we do stuff like you all know, you created this podcast and you work very hard on it, and people don't realize the work that goes into something like this. You have to come up with ideas, what to talk about, talking points. You got to get everybody together. You got to set the camera up. You got to put the mic, you got to promote it and things like that. And
craft
all
services.
I was like, you got to figure out what you're going to eat.
Okay. Because I already know what I'm going to eat after this.
Right.
But it's like, and all you want is for someone that family, friends, to support it, to click and listen, share it, do something, because there's a lot of work that goes into this. So I commend all of you for having an idea and seeing it through. I commend anyone that decides to do that, because this is hard. It's not easy to wake up one day and decide, I'm going to create a show, I'm going to do a podcast, and you just hope and pray and fingers crossed that people support it. So kudos to y'all too for doing something.
Thank you.
Do you
feel it's tougher for people of color and people of the LGBTQ community to do?
Yes.
Do you feel like it's tougher for us to get things over the line than anyone else? And why do you feel that way?
I do. This is how much time we got, y'all.
Right.
I do feel like that as a person of color. It is so much harder to get your work out there, to have people support you, to, have people just acknowledge what you're doing. I feel like when you are not, and you look a certain way and, that a certain way that people gravitate towards, it's very easy. One post within minutes can have thousands of looks or thousands of views or whatever. And it's it can be disheartening. And I felt that during this pandemic, because when the pandemic happened, I was like, nope, we about to like keep this train moving. We're about to do things. I did my IG live show. Darrell, you were on it. I was doing my Tell Me More with Tony Moore, and all that kind of stuff. And so, but it was disheartening because I felt like I was doing all this stuff and doing all this work and no one was paying attention. And then I started feeling like, but if I was someone else, then this would be popping.
It would be quicker, yeah.
Yeah, and so I had to tell myself, you know what? Those two people who are watching are the two people who fully support you and the reason why you're doing it. So I had to remind myself that you may not be getting, you know, the thousands upon thousands of views. You may not be the thirst trap that everybody is looking to see what you post that day, but you are creating something that people enjoy, that people like, that people look forward to. So keep doing that for no matter how many people show up in that room.
I'm gonna say something slightly controversial because I have enjoyed Dishing Days more than I ever have any of the white soap fans that they have hired to do the app. And I think that it just speaks volumes. Like, you guys have really good conversations with the actors. I know you've hosted the LGBTQ with Chandler Massey and Freddie Smith and, you know, other LGBTQ characters that's been on different soaps. And I think that what you guys do, having women on the panel, men, people of color, it just speaks to me so much more volumes as being a fan of Days of Our Lives than whoever they hired and whatever they hired or whatever they did with the app. I just think that what you did came from a deep love of it, and not saying that the other people didn't have love of it, but I wish that you would have gotten more notice for what you did and what you continue to do.
But you know, when you create something, you create based on how you see the world.
Yeah.
And I have always seen the world with many different types of people, genders, sexual orientation, race, all of that. That's just been me. I grew up as a military kid, so we traveled all around. So for me, I interacted with all different types of people. That has just been my life. When someone creates something and their world is all white, you kind of think that's your experience. You know what I mean? You're creating something based on your experience, and we're seeing that. But we also see how you try hard by like putting in some sort of diversity to say we're diverse, you know? But that hasn't been my point of view. My point of view has always been to try to incorporate and include everybody so that all voices are heard. Oh, I sound real educated and stuff, like I'm putting my college degree.
You do.
You got it, sis.
I love to hear it. Okay, so speaking of content that we want to hear on More Please, you had the Dance Moms on.
I did.
How was that? Because we are all fans of Dance Moms and
the early season.
The early season of Dance Moms, baby, that shit was hot.
Well, one, I love those moms. I love the moms. I love Abby. I'm Switzerland. You know, between all the drama that goes on between them, I get along with everyone. I'm very happy for them because they started their podcast because mom said so. And again, a group of people who are creating, who are using their platform to create something. So I was very happy for that. And it's always good just to like catch up with them and stuff. During the show, well, I was first introduced to them because I used to do recaps of Dance Moms on AfterBuzz TV. And so that's how I met Abby. That's how I met some of the moms. Then I traveled to Australia to host for Abby in her Abby's Ultimate Australian tour, something like that. Years ago, she hired me to host that. So I got to know the moms even more, and we just kind of kept that relationship. So they're great. They're great. They're fun. Yeah, I wish I could have the conversation that I would love to have with them, but I can't.
You
Hmm.
you also had Anne Heche on, who was the recent cast member of
Mhm.
Dancing with the Stars. So tell us a
Yes.
little bit about that quickly, because
Yes.
we also have a game that we want to play with you. But go tell us about Anne. Love Anne.
Well, first off, that I was super shocked that that happened. And how it all started
Right.
was
Yeah.
how it all started was an Instagram post. I was watching Dancing with the Stars. Never watched like any other season of Dancing with the Stars, but we in quarantine, so we all watching
Me
stuff
either,
that we
girl.
never
Right.
watched
Me either,
before,
girl. But
right?
This
I'm
is a
watching.
good season.
I'm watching the season. Hello.
Right. So and I mainly watched because I saw Jeannie Mai was on there, and y'all know if you haven't seen my Instagram, I'm a huge fan of The Real. Like been rocking with them since the summer preview.
Love
And
Jeannie
I was like, I want to watch for Jeannie, and then like I saw everyone else. When Anne popped on, I was like, first of all, where has she been? Secondly, she is everything.
Right.
Right.
And so I did a
Right.
post. She reposted on her story, and then she like messaged like thank you, and there was a little message back and forth, and then she started following me, and I was like, okay, this is cute.
Yep.
And then when she got eliminated, I was like, okay, we gonna try this. Hey, I have a show. I'd love for you to be on it. It was crickets for a day, and then I was like, just let me know if you can. That would be great. And then,
Hi, checking in.
yeah, and
following
then
up.
and then and then it was like, yes, like email her rep. Emailed the rep, and the rep was like, Anne absolutely adores you and loves you and will be glad to
Aw.
do your show. And I was like, and I immediately called my best friend Paris in Atlanta, and I said, Paris, you will not believe I got Anne Heche for my show. And she was like, you got Anne Heche? Like totally. And she was freaking out. But it was great. But those are the type of interviews that I like, where
Yeah.
like you are just connected to someone and it's fun and it's there's no nerves. You just have this natural rhythm and natural conversation. I felt the same way when I interviewed Raven Simone. Like she was just one of the most
I
easiest down to
love
earth people.
Raven.
She's so nice and
Yeah.
so down to earth and so easy to talk to, and not about the LA industry BS. And I'm like,
Mhm.
I can rock with this. So
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, we love Raven. Obviously, we love Anne
Mhm.
Heche. We don't understand the voting that's going on with Dancing with the Stars, which has been in the news a little bit. There's like, I don't know if
Controversial.
Tyra has anything to do with it now that she's an EP, but it's a little crazy. I didn't say it. OK Magazine said it.
Okay.
Before we play the game, I want to quickly, because we were talking about Anne Heche, she was in I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Yes.
I want to ask you, since it's spooky season, what's your favorite scary movie?
Let me tell you this. I do not do scary movies because I'm
Oh my
easily
gosh.
scared.
It's perfect.
So because okay, quick story. So when I was young and Child's Play came out, that tells my age.
Mhm.
There was a popular doll in the 80s called My Buddy.
Yes,
Yeah.
I remember My Buddy
Tony,
and Kate's sister.
Tony,
Girl has
I
a
have My Buddy in my room. The black version is literally on my couch.
My Buddy.
Yep.
Tony, we're the
My
same person. I'm fucking over it.
Listen,
Great.
mine was the black person too. But imagine this. Imagine when you're young and you watch Child Play and you go into your room and realize the doll looks exactly like
Looks
the My
exactly
Buddy
the same.
doll. So
Mhm.
I quickly like threw it down the hall, scared the shit out of my sister, who thought that the doll was like running. And like I was like, you know what? Scary movies are not in my spirit. So I will say my favorite scary
Aw.
movie is Hocus Pocus.
Yes, and they're coming back.
Yeah, coming back.
That's part. Wait, hold. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry, but I just need to know this. I'm sorry.
What do you
I'm
need to know?
prolonging. Our producers are saying, "Let's get to the game." I need to know. What's your take on the Ryan Seacrest drama that's happening with Live with Kelly and Ryan.
Catch me up on that because I haven't.
Girl, I'm gonna catch you up. Let me tell you. So Ryan did not show to set yesterday. He did not show to set today. Did not tell any of the staff.
Man, Kelly just has it bad, huh? With men producers. Is it her?
We don't want that narrative.
That's what I wanted your take on. What's going on? And or could it be medical related, i.e. the stroke quotation marks that he had on American Idol a while back?
Quotation.
It wasn't proved that he had a stroke. Just let me know, and then we'll get to the game. You can say pass, weakest link.
I have a question about weakest link before we.
Right.
Okay. I will say that is interesting that is happening because we all know Ryan Seacrest is a very professional person.
All he does is work.
Yeah.
That's all he does is work. I met him once. I did a run through with him on this game show years ago. I can't even remember what it's called, like A Million Second or something like that. And I just remember that I worked with him. He's nice. He's a great hard worker. But there's tea to that story. So I feel like I need to like pay attention because
it's gonna come out. It's gonna bubble out.
Like who doesn't show up for a check?
Well, he's still getting paid, I'm sure.
Yeah,
possibly, but still, I'm gonna go with
contract breaching. I don't know.
Something like
and more importantly, Kelly's very probably triggered after Michael Strahan. Like she's probably like, I'm not doing this again. And that makes him the weakest link. But before we get into our questions, I know we keep saying this. Talk to us about the weakest link real quick. How was it working with Jane Lynch and your experience on that show?
Oh my gosh, the weakest link was a lot of fun.
Wait, but I'm so sorry. Here I go again. I'm interrupting. Tony, I'm so sorry to say this. I just need to let you know. I was working today. I had on, Peacock, the new NBC streaming app where you can stream all of your favorite shows and your current shows. They're not only a sponsor, but anyway. And then I look up on my TV and there is Tony Moore. I said, what is he doing on the weakest link? Anyway, continue.
There she is.
There she is. First of all, when I auditioned for the weakest link, I was like, I'm not gonna get this. And then I kept like going through the rounds, and then next thing you know, I'm on set about to play this game. It was a lot of fun. Jane Lynch, I think, is perfect for the show because she's not as like mean as I believe her name was Ann Robinson, who originally hosted the weakest link. But she's still mean enough to where you're just like, you're really playing Sue Sylvester, and I like it. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it was a great time. They were dead ass wrong for voting me out that round because I had the toughest questions. I was answering everyone else's questions, and then when it got to mine, I was like, just say it. I was like, I don't know what it is. And I had the mindset of just like, say something that sounds like it could be right. So that in their mind, they're like, oh, and they don't know whether Jane said right, wrong, or whatever, but they just knew I said something and I said something quickly.
My favorite was when they were like, you took too long to say the bad answer. And you were like, nah, I said the bad answer real fast.
Because she tried to read me, and she was voting me out because it took me a long time to get to the wrong answer. And I was like, I don't know what clock you're using, but I got to the wrong answer quickly.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm just saying.
It was so funny.
Overall, it was a great time. It's fun. If you can ever be on a game show, and I've been on quite a few, just have fun with it. I think the nerves come when you basically spent the money that you're trying to win before you walk through the door. That check was already spent. I didn't even get it.
So listen, we're gonna get into our game of lightning round. It's gonna be really fun. We're gonna ask you some questions about what's going on now. Give you a few seconds to answer, and we're gonna get through it just to see.
First thing that comes to your brain.
Yeah. Okay. So, Breonna Taylor. Starting rough. Breonna Taylor. How do you feel about how that all played out?
No justice, no peace. There is some shadiness that's happening. And I feel like if this was any other situation, people would have been locked up in jail, like maximum prison sentence, everything like that. I don't understand why so many months later, we're still asking for justice, and why people are still trying to defend people who were wrong in the situation.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
speaking of people who should probably be in jail, Jeffrey Toobin.
That's
How
not. Okay, go ahead.
How do you feel about the situation with him? Have you heard what's going on?
who's this?
Jeffrey Toobin. He's on staff at the New Yorker. He's CNN's chief political analyst. He was caught masturbating on a Zoom call, but he thought the call was over.
Oh, that guy. You know what? Here's the problem, and we've already seen commercials like this. Make sure in any Zoom call that you're in, anything that's electronical like this, just shut it off. Restart to make sure you are completely 1000% logged off. Because if you keep traveling through your house, or you get up and you ain't got no pants on or whatever, and you still logged on, like, because I'm gonna tell you, when we get off this, I'm shutting the computer all the way down.
Right. Hello.
But what are you doing after this, Tony?
That's not part of the game, Braden.
Braden, you're in my business.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Don't do that.
Since we're in the moment of locking people up, next debate, which hopefully we lock up the person who's running the White House right now. Next debate, how do you feel about the mics being muted?
Oh, during the debate?
He's nodding his head, listeners.
Listen.
Yes.
Yeah, because that's the only way to get certain people to shut up. You have to Andy Cohen, Nene leak something.
Right. Yeah.
Mute. So I'm here for it.
Okay.
Speaking of.
Mute. Speaking of.
Wow. Our next lightning round question: how do you feel about Nene Leakes and Andy Cohen and their current feud?
We all know that the real feud is that Nene thinks that she is the baddest bitch. And she is. But I think she needs a little piece of humble pie. I think that she has gotten to a point where she thinks she's everything and that the show is not going to survive without her. I will always say that you should receive the pay that you deserve. But like Wendy Williams said on Watch What Happens Live, what do we want to see Nene do? We don't want to see her with Greg. We don't want to see a spinoff. I think the only show that Nene could have had was like a Nene Takes Hollywood, and we saw her do The New Normal, Glee, her stuff on Broadway, and see her rise from a reality show star to like a legit star. But we all watched the last season of Atlanta. We all know that she was struggling with a storyline. She made up a storyline so that she could be relevant last season. So
very that.
That's true. Speaking of storylines and relevancy, since we're on a housewife kick, how do you feel about Denise and Brandy?
Denise needs to just go ahead and admit that she went down on that woman or whatever it is that she did, and
my God.
I mean, that's what it is. I mean, famously, I've always said Denise was looking for a friend with Lisa Rinna, and Lisa Rinna was looking for a castmate, and it was a storyline. We went from the dog Lucy Apple Juicy to somebody else getting their juicy ate, and it's just like,
I keep the juicy.
Tell what it is and let's move for it.
My thing is this, and I first of all, if you're gonna do something that you don't want anybody to know about, don't do it with someone who is messy.
Brandon is messy.
And don't do it on a Zoom call either. Turn that shit off.
Exactly. So my thing is, I think Denise should have, instead of trying to cover it up, because she was bad at covering up. Like, you an actress, you supposed to be good at lying. You weren't great. Like, if you know what I mean? Like, at some point you just say, you know what, y'all, here's the thing. I did it, but I don't want to talk about it because it's really y'all in my business. And y'all don't need to be in my business. Bravo, bravo, get out my business. But here,
bravo, fucking bravo.
Fucking bravo.
But here's the thing.
Tony.
My question is this though. Like, why, when you have this fine, I mean, that man is fine. He look off, but he fine though, right? Like, why would you ever?
He a little crazy.
Yeah. But if it's as big as Denise said it is.
She said it's so big.
Oh, y'all ain't
And
seen
so
the
did
picture?
Nicholas Sheridan.
What picture? Oh, you gonna DM that to us?
Not right now. We're not done with this interview.
No, wait, Tony. If you don't send me that picture, friendships are on the line. Because I need to see it. Because the way that Nicholas Sheridan was like, it was so big, she had to, like, that's why part of her reason for leaving him.
Because it was too big?
Yeah.
Oh, ouch.
Oh, well.
See, that, and no offense, Ashley, that's a woman for you. Now, our little gay asses would be like, I'm sticking to this like glue.
Right.
It's like me, Velcro, bitch.
Don't put that shit on me or the rest of the women. Okay?
Uh-oh. Hold on, y'all froze.
More
with more.
More with more.
More with more. More, please.
There you go. You can keep that one.
More with more. We're gonna bring you back for another round of hot topics. So for our listeners out there, you can catch Tony Moore with his show More Please and Lounging with Tony.
Okay.
Also follow Tony on Lounging with Tony on Instagram. Is that right, Tony?
All social media platforms, you can follow Little Old Chocolate Me at Lounging with Tony.
Oh my God.
Yes, chocolate you.
Chocolate is a good thing. I love to see it.
I love chocolate drop.
As a reminder and as a follow-up to this interview, we're going to be asking for those DMs. So just
just go ahead and slide in those DMs with all the pictures and info.
I can't believe y'all didn't see it because like Denise Richards.
We ain't nasty like you people.
I'm disgusting and I didn't see it, so I looked it up.
Right.
But Denise Richards, she posted the photo of him like in the morning and like
I followed her.
I did.
I think I may have remembered that.
Anyway, Tony, you send us that. You send us that. All of our listeners, go follow Tony on Lounging with Tony on Instagram and check out his show, More Please. And we will see you next time, Tony, okay? Bring us all the hot tea.
All the tea.
No, we love it.
Thanks, girl.
Bye.